opportunities they should. Delhi master plan is coming by. Gurgaon has its own challenges because there's talk of FAR increasing, etc., etc. So how the prices will move after that is a guess. So therefore, the market is not really corrected to its own forces. Now, until that happens, the end user will not really start moving. So I feel, but having said that, everyone seems to have come to a point where they know that there is no event which is going to happen. There is not one event that the government will come in, suddenly it will change, overnight things are going to get better, Diwali will come, so such, good days will be here again. So none of that, I think that has sunk in. And that I hope now will, in the next 2 quarters, should start translating into some movement. And the some movement will really start with really broken prices. And that will be led by the end user.
Thanks, Arun. Mr. Elia, you've been a fund as well as a developer. So my question would be, how's been your experience so far as entering as a fund and then moving up as a developer? How's been your experience so far? Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I think that's because I was late, so. Yeah, I lost my seat, I think so. Thank you. So that's a developer, he fixes things for you in time. So always remember, developer really fixes your lifestyle issues also. So anyways, I think it's an overall thing. When you talk about experience or FDI, definitely from a investor point of view, where there's an investment sitting overseas somewhere and he's sent his money from his bank and he's just waiting how much is coming back and what is it. He's not interested in your, the India story or India issues or growth or future, all that is fine. The point is, I gave money this day, how much is I getting? There is a bit of distress there. It is obviously because the, probably I think it is also a reason of a lot of expectation mismatch which was given out in terms of approvals, delays, your sizes of projects. And like for example, probably we have all 100-acre projects, so it takes about almost 10 years very easily to do a 100-acre project when you're talking about a complete exit. But obviously investors were given a shorter expectation. So I think that's fine, but the, which is right, but gradually what is really bothering the investors or what bothers the investors are 2 key issues. One is there has been a huge exchange fluctuation. While we keep talking about purely real estate industries and an issue, but overall if you look at it, there is a huge exchange fluctuation. Like our investments would have come at almost 40 or 42 level. Today we have to repatriate probably at 70 odd levels. Plus there is retrospective taxation. Wherever we are today in the same jurisdiction, we are being told to pay 28% extra tax on dividend distribution. So these kind of things also, they affect the sentiment big time. So while you can talk about a new government, everything, but the issues still, these fundamentals don't kind of stabilize somewhere. How do I attract an FDI? All people are saying that at least let the rules of the game be defined. Don't do this retrospective taxation suddenly that after 5 years, I'm already hit by many issues and I suddenly realize there is a, I can't even send money out now. There is a retrospective tax of 28%. So these issues have been very, they are also affecting the industry big time, like all other industries. Specific to real estate, I think overall, the way we look at it, I think it's every industry has gone through the maturity cycle where there has been this intermediary in between the consumer and the manufacturer, which over time has got sidelined. For example, if you take the automobile industry, in the earlier times you had to pay premiums. वो बोलते थे ब्लैक में गाड़ी लेने जा रहे हैं जी, प्रीमियम देना पड़ेगा अगर गाड़ी चाहिए. Today, those guys chase you. You don't even need to pay for 1 year and you get a car in your home. Similarly, travel agents, I think today all bookings are happening. Everybody does a .com and you book on your app and everything. The middleman is really getting cut out. I think real estate is headed there. You're going to get a situation where there's a customer who are going to walk in. They are going to go to Mr. X, Mr. Y, see the products, finally buy what they really like and they believe in. So I think it's headed that way, it's matured, and the industry also needs to gear up to meet that challenge.
Thanks. Moving on, we're talking about FDI now in real estate. Mr. Kapoor, do you really think FDI in real estate has helped us during these times? Do you think the amount of FDI we've seen in last 1 year, maybe around $2.5 billion have already been invested in real estate across India, has it helped us anywhere in the industry in recovery so far? or developers as such?
Well, I feel that FDI has really, in the initial stage, has helped us in opening up of the real estate sector. The sector was very buoyant and it was taken with a folded, very welcoming hand that yes, FDI is very well invited. But the underlying bottom line was that Indian real estate climate was not understood by the FDI players. So FDI players, as Vinitha rightly said, they're interested only in ROI. They're not interested in the modalities, the process. And unless the process is very well defined to the FDI partner, he finds it very difficult to understand and have a trust factor in a developer. And initially you see whatever investment of FDI is done in real estate, everybody has burned their hands. So that's why if you see FDI investment has come into India, it's been poured into with a lot of developers, but end of the day today, that equity partnership has been diluted and now new term is called debt equity ratio is coming into this. Now FDI is there, but they are having a lot of fears in investing as a equity partner. They want a structured debt that at this much of return I'll get it. I do not know the processes in India, but we want this fixed return because otherwise it is unviable for us to pour in more money. Today the scenario, as you know, that we are going through a recession, so the money is available in abundance. And today the FDI is willing to settle the terms. But what is happening is at the developer end, as we are, some of us are developer and developing properties here, we find it difficult to come out with a new project. Why? Because the sales sentiments are not allowing us to do so. So though the FDI route has come into from a nascent stage to middle path, not as mature, but now people are perceiving it and finding out fine-tuning of what is a equity debt ratio and how do we recover our money and ensure that yes, every developer goes through a lot of hardships in terms of return on investment, and the time limit is uncertain because of certain government regulation and the policy framework. So they are now getting tuned to the Indian culture, and probably we see the ray of hope in future that the FDI will be coming up with more moderate form of participation with a developer to develop a particular industry and reach the benefits.
Thank you so much. Sir, you being an architect, pertinent question to you. We talk about, in NCR we're talking about increased FAR. We're talking about, TDRs and all that stuff. Now, do you really think, are we ready or in terms of our technology, in terms of our processes, to really build that dense a facility or that tall buildings right now? And would that really help us in the long run?
Well, looking at the experience that I'm talking about working, about the housing, what I look at it as an opportunity when it talks about the recession and the fundamentals which goes with it, is an opportunity to look at newer avenues, how to, as a designer or as a creative person, how to look at newer forms on the same beaten path, and how to add value additions to the ideas that we probably do for similar sort of housing or similar sort of projects, and probably an opportunity which is probably a plus point. Because what happens when you have put about 20 years of your practice into similar sort of projects, you don't really get the time to sit back and think what exactly could be new. And when you have challenges where probably one assignment is leading to another one, and probably there are so many people who are looking at finding the right way, it helps me to revive, refresh, and look at our own ideas in a newer perspective. And that's what I feel has really helped us. In fact, I see it sometimes as a plus point, something which probably helps me to revive ideas or probably look at new technologies or new stipulations of the government to probably come up with a new track. And certainly sometimes, because being a design person, our design is very much the modulation for all the marketing probably which the developer has to go through. So sometimes our ideas is something which probably helps him to give a new impetus to the marketing techniques which probably they go through. So I have got 3 points, which is like 3 R's, which is refresh, revive, and restore. Restore your old commitments, look at new avenues, refresh and look at ideas which probably have never been practiced again, and revive something which has not been done before. And look at things, for instance, materials, probably style of thinking of directions, which is very important today in Vastu and all that. and look at technology, probably to put a new, fresh mode to the planning stages that we have to go through.
Thanks. Mr. Sal, I'll come back to you, sir. So we've been talking about steps that government should take. We talk about REITs coming in, we're talking about real estate regulator, we're also talking about newer steps that government should take time and again to revive this real estate sector. Do you think it is enough, or much needs to be done by the government itself as well? And what should be those points, or what should be those steps that government should take?
Not really, as per me. If you look at it, we spoke about FDI funding coming in, and then revival of the basic thought behind foreign money coming in was that we're looking at money for development of the projects. Right. Today, if you look at, money is still coming in. But where is that coming in? I am cash out, I have got assets, they are acquiring those assets, Today, majority of the real estate assets of all the big companies, they all have been taken over. You say BlackRock, Blackstone, Brookfield, or blah, blah, blah. So at fixed capitalization. So the basic purpose of getting that money for development of the project has been defeated, what we're looking at. Now next step coming in was that let's look at REIT. Globally, real estate investment trusts are there, they are raising a lot of money. Now who is going to raise REITs? That is already in the hands of Blackstone, Brooks and all that. So there are very few assets which are there in the hands of real estate developer where they can raise money to put back into development. So we are all talking about all these things coming up and money will be flowing in. I feel that is far-fetched, and by the time REIT total guidelines all gets frozen, I think it will be 2, 3, 4 years from now. Because in India, if you look at individual investors looking for investment in mutual funds, still they get 11, 12, 13% of return. And these funds are taking at capitalization of 8 to 9%. So it is very, very, very difficult that they can offer that kind of return to their investors. So I think before interest rate comes down and other guidelines are settled and tax issues are settled by the government, raising money through REIT will be a bit far-fetched dream.
So do you...
And you are talking about government regulations, the real estate regulator. Again, real estate regulator, whatever terms are there in the real estate regulator, if you have a look at any of the license issued by Haryana government, all those terms are already there. From last 10, 12 years, everything is there.
It's much regulated.
How much? Yes. So if we are not regulated by the license, which regulator is going to regulate us? I think self-regulation is very important. We're talking about opening of escrow accounts and making limited profit and all that. That is all there in the license. Government can always stop us without plan approval. We can't sell the project. That is the term of the license. And bylaw says that. So if we don't stick to that and we still sell, that is also the government, and the bylaws are by government, and this regulator is also government. So I think we need to have a deep introspection, and we need to look at the self-regulation before we can look at again what we say, that light at the end of the tunnel.
I agree. Certainly agree. Mr. Elia, what are your views around this? What should government do more to help the real estate sector as of now?
See, I think if you look at the whole issue, I mean, the way I look at it, there is a India level issue. Real estate is a part of the whole thing. There is an overall India level issue. The economy has to grow because real estate is like a, to the overall Indian economy, we are like an ancillary industry. And especially when you talk about whether you talk about commercial or residential, when businesses grow, economy grows, commercial demand is there. It has to dovetail there. If commercial grows, then the residential is required. So today the issue there is that the supply demand situations have suddenly, like Neeraj ji said, it's like gone to the south. It's the other way situation now. Today supply is there and the demand is not there. So I think first of all, the country needs to get its act together, and when the growth happens, automatically that will filter out into real estate. There is no other choice. People will need offices and people will need homes to live. Iska, fortunately, there is no other option, so real estate will grow. So there is enough light. Now the only point is how long is the tunnel, which depends on the the regulators, and also there is an overall economic situation which plays a big role there. Otherwise, I think if you really get down to macros, I think all anybody can ask for is, you're talking about consistent taxation policies. Even if you want to do a certain taxation, please make it consistent and don't get into retrospective things. That is like a fundamental thing which is required, again, I think, across industries. Over and above that, I think what is there is you need a lot of transparency. Every time you're investing, especially when you're an FDI or anybody who's sitting from a distance, what you definitely, one is okay, you're not doing well, markets are down, everybody does understand. But when you get into wrong practices by people, that also puts it puts like every time I've had situations where investors have come, you told me approval will come in 6 months. No sir, I'm sorry, another 6 months, at least that guy got transferred, this guy is coming. So you put a very sorry state for the whole this thing. So what people say is, okay, if it takes a year, say it's going to take a year. So there's a level of transparency which needs to be built in. Now this does travel through the development industry as well as through the, the regulator could be just like one of the medium. But finally, I don't know whether the regulator will become another license Raj on top, because it can also, in our country, it can go on the other side also. Might just add on more complications. So we need to be careful and keep in mind that we need to do ease of business and ease of finance. Two things are enough for any business to really grow.
But despite this, let me tell you that market is there, buyers are there, money is there, everything is there. Only thing is that confidence has been lost. We as a Bharati Realty coming out with a residential project, we very recently signed one joint development project in south of South Delhi. Let me tell you that we are going for changing of the plans, because already plans approval, everything was there. We have been chased by close to 500 people that you take checks from us and book apartments. One is the confidence, another is the right pricing. I think both these two things are missing. Promises and commitments for delivery are missing. If we can give that confidence, I don't see that there are no buyers and there is no money in the market. There is.
Certainly agree on the confidence part of the business, sir. Tarun, you've been involved and you've been a stalwart in selling a lot of residential all across. Tell me, what are your customers' expectations in a slowdown like this? What are they looking forward to from the developers to basically come forward again and start buying or start investing again in residential?
Well, frankly, the investors and the customers today, I treat both of these categories totally separately. So the customers are shying away from coming because of two reasons. Over the last 10 years, places like where they have invested, like a lot of places in Gurgaon, have seen very, very, very little development, actual development and livability in terms of coming. So the ecosystem for living is not coming together even in a 7 to 10 year cycle. So that has put off a lot of people from actually now investing in anything which is a promise, because promises have not been delivered both by developers and the government agencies as well. So it's not only the developer who does. In fact, in a lot of places, this side, Gurgaon, I'm not talking about Noida and Greater Noida right now, but in a place like Gurgaon, a lot of places the developers are delivered and the government agencies have not, in spite of being, I'm told, in surplus funds. So number one. Secondly, as I said, the customers will start coming. I totally agree with Mr. Syal. The minute the pricing and the product is tweaked. So the minute the new policy comes in, there will be smaller units available. The developers themselves will kind of adjust their pricing and adjust the specifications, the whole ticket price issue, and that end user will start coming. I mean, if you have a market where entry price is 1.5 crores is an entry price, so that's not the real India where you can clock numbers in hundreds, which we're used to clocking. So the minute ticket prices start coming down to more realistic levels, including with a bit of shrinkage of size and tweaking of specifications, etc., the end user will start moving in.
Mr. Gulati, you have a lot of residential projects all across NCR. Are there the similar expectations from your consumers, the customers as well, or you see a difference?
See, first let me tell you that there is a difference between two Asotech. So the other Asotech is having a lot of residential project, and we are primarily considering on commercial at the time, for the time being. But to answer your question on a global basis, and I take the views of all these, some of our panelists together, that rationalization, or let's say tweaking in his words, of prices versus products is not as easy as it sounds, because it is going to take lots of bankruptcies in the middle, because a lot of people are going to be, a lot of developers are going to get bankrupt before this actually realizes on ground. Yes. So it is not that, you know, a particular project is launched and now, you know, the prices has to come down, and it is easy for the developer to, you know, make good the promises of, you know, whatever expectation of the people are. So it is not that easy. It has to happen on a global basis. And yes, talking about, I'll take it in two steps. One is that the commercial markets have probably already realized the change in sentiment. The change in sentiment first is reflected in stock markets, which it has, and commercial real estate is also already experiencing some of it, because I'm in my company. If I tell you the statistics from last year, we are already having 50% more inquiries, more demands, more collections as far as office spaces are concerned. So as far as office spaces are concerned, the things are looking up already. That's what my feeling is. But in residential, yes, just like everybody's feeling is, one is that there's no dearth of money internationally and nationally. Only thing is that you have to come with the viable projects, and the viability depends on good planning. And good planning has to be the responsibility of not just developers, the regulatory framework and, you know, the government and blah, 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 you know, all these things coming together. So the master plan has to be right. Haryana government, for example, they have to realize if they are putting some land there in the master plan in Gurgaon or Manesar, is there enough water behind it? If the whole of Gurgaon is depending on one canal of serving them, so they have to be conscious of all these things. So bad planning, haphazard development, short-term goals by developers, all these things have contributed to all these situations that we are in, this mess that we are in. So I think this is not easy that the prices will easily match with the customer's expectation. Lots of things are going to, lots of bloodbath is going to happen in the middle.
Let me just correct my stance. I wasn't talking about no developer is going to push 40% off his existing project. I'm just talking about fresh launches will cater themselves to the demand of the customer, and there will be some movement in the market. The old projects which are perceived to be high will suffer for much longer until the market comes at parity, but at least there will be some traction with the end user with the fresh launches. Absolutely no developer will commit the suicide of cutting off straight off prices, and there will be no collections in the balance of the project.
Mr. Kapoor, we've been talking and we've been looking forward to recovery. Now, you know, we've been through various cycles, and recovery happens. Then again, we have a full cycle, and we are again into slowdown. What, in your opinion, happens when the recovery starts? Are we looking at office leasing or office take-ups, residential, all happening simultaneously when the recovery starts to kick in? Or is it a ripple effect, one starts first and the other follows? What is your view around this?
It's a wishful thinking. We all want an early recovery. Everybody is looking out for this. So primarily I would say that yes, the cause and effect is mixed. Usually the trends are that we see that office absorption, when it starts taking an early recovery, then we find that the market correction sentiments have started moving in the right direction, and then it is followed by residential and a commercial recovery. So what we see and what the reports of different IPCs, when they publish quarterly, they tell us about is that today we see that yes, market is up in terms of office place absorption, So office adoption is taking some positive aspect of it, especially across NCR. And when we see what we have gathered and discussed about it, is that the mode of recovery, there are certain typical market behaviors and it is geographic dependent. When we talk about, as we said, that Haryana model, in Haryana model what we see is that definitely there's a need for a price correction, which is required and the customer is there, tons of money is there. But what has happened is eventually the recovery, why the recovery is not happening is because the market sentiments have gone down. Market sentiments have gone down on different fronts. First of all, what has happened is, since for the last couple of years, the investor is not making money